Were you going out a lot? Were you partying? Like, what was your life pre-baby?
We're just going to say I went from popping bottles to making bottles. We'll just put it that way.
Hello, and welcome to the latest episode of the Bad Times, Good Stories podcast. My name is Joe Flanders. I hope you're having a magnificent week. I am still in Ohio, in my old bedroom growing up. That now looks a lot classier, that I don't live here anymore. It's been a nice week at home, and I'm excited to share a conversation I had with an old high school friend, Ryan Easley, who I hadn't seen since high school, but he's somebody I've kind of followed along through his Facebook posts over the years. He is a single dad. He's got a 8-year-old girl, and I talked to him about that. I hadn't really talked with anybody on the show about being a single parent, or really being a parent at all. So that was really interesting, and he made me laugh a lot. And then we also talk about his time working as a city bus driver here in Columbus and sort of the crazy people that he interacted with on a daily basis during that job. So, this was a great conversation. This is kind of the episodes I really enjoy doing. Just two people having a conversation. He's not a comedian. He's nothing like that. So he's just kind of a normal guy who's doing, I think, pretty great things in his life, and it was great reconnecting with him. Again, I hadn't seen him in like 13, 14 years, so I hope you enjoy it. I really enjoyed it. He had a bit of a cold, so thanks, Ryan, for powering through. And then I am sort of operating on a shoestring operation here. Didn't have all my equipment that I normally have back in LA, so I think it turned out well, but, if the audio sounds a little different, that's why. If you enjoyed the episode, please give us that 5 stars on iTunes. I really appreciate it. You can also check out badtimesgoodstoriespod.com for past episodes, merch, and that link to the Patreon page. And lastly, you can email me at badtimesgoodstoriespodcast@gmail.com. That's all I've got for now, so without further ado, here's my conversation with Ryan Easley. All right, so I haven't seen you in what, like 13 years?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
probably
13.
13? We're 18. I'm 31.
Yeah, high school.
Yeah. I was thinking about it. I have a fond memory of laughing with you in the hallway, in the locker room, going out to the gym during basketball season, where I was probably saying that I should be on the team instead of you.
Yeah, I faintly remember that.
And remember, I was saying that while wearing the horse costume.
Yes. It's like the mascot wants my spot. God damn it. He can have it.
So this is interesting. So I'm going to tell you what I know based purely on Facebook posts over the last 13 years.
Okay.
And then you can fill in the blanks.
Yeah.
So you've been a single dad for, what, like 6 years now?
7.
7 years?
She just turned 8.
Yep, math is not my strong suit.
Oh, I can see that.
And I'm also drinking now.
Oh,
so
no,
this is going to
this
be good.
is apple juice.
Yeah,
That's
exactly.
fine.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So I know that at some point you were a bus driver, right?
Jesus, yes. Man, the worst 3 years of my life, but some of the best stories.
I believe it.
Know?
Yeah, definitely want to get into that.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess that's all Facebook has told me. And now you're in school.
Yeah, school for pipe fitting. So
Very cool.
Yeah.
So it's interesting because most of when I think about and I think I've talked about this, it's been a while, but there's some people on my timeline that I have no interest in knowing, but I know so much about these people.
Right.
Until eventually it got to the point where somebody was like, oh, I wonder what blah, blah, blah is doing. somebody I didn't give a shit about. Nothing personally, but
Right.
And I broke down their last 3 years of their life without even knowing that
off of
information was
Facebook?
in my brain. And I was like, I've got limited brain capacity.
Right.
Why is this shit in here?
I can't remember what I did last week, but
Yeah.
I know what you did the last 3 years of your
Yeah,
life.
exactly.
Uh-huh.
You went through that bad breakup. You came out the other side.
Right.
Then you found somebody new, but then that didn't work out. And then you decided you're a lesbian.
Right.
Or realized, I should say, I guess. I knew way too much.
Yeah.
But in this case, it's actually been kind of nice following your escapades in life. Yeah.
Oh,
So I
man.
know. Yeah.
It's a real life roller coaster. So
Yeah, man. So when did I haven't talked with anybody about being a single parent, so plenty of stuff to talk about.
Mm-hmm.
How did you meet her mom?
I met her through my roommate. It was his ex.
Oh,
It was more of a tit for tat type of thing. Like,
Okay.
I found out he was talking to somebody I used to talk to, and I said,
so you guys just swapped?
yeah. So he had no idea until he's like, man, I kept seeing this car outside that looked like hers, but I wasn't sure. I was like, yeah, man.
And you guys were living together?
Yes.
How did just coming and going?
Yeah.
It just sounds like
He
a
was,
screwball comedy or something.
He
She's
was
coming in, he's going out.
Yeah, he was a clubber.
Okay.
I was a lover. So. We'll just put it that way. So I was in my room.
Nice.
Mm-hmm.
So how long did you guys date before she got pregnant?
11 months.
11 months. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Short-lived.
So how did you find out that she was pregnant?
Yeah. So, excuse me. I got a text. Probably. Well, we hung out, and then I didn't hear from her for maybe 6 weeks.
Really? Okay.
Yeah,
So you
and
guys
then
weren't like dating.
Oh, we were.
Oh, you
And
were?
then she's
Okay.
just like a ghost, just vanished.
Okay.
Like, oh, all right, whatever. You
Okay.
know, no hair off my back. You know,
Right.
whatever.
Yeah.
So, I didn't hear from her for about 6 weeks. Then I get this text, and it's like, hey, gotta ask you a question. I'm having a debate with my friends. And I was like, hi. Random.
Yeah.
So I was like, what's up?
Yeah.
And she's like, well, if you got a girl pregnant, would you want to know? And I'm like, God damn it. I said, yeah, I think I should know. And I'm like, why? And then she's like, well, my friend thinks she's pregnant. And I'm like, I was an asshole back then. I'm like, well, tell your friend she's a dummy and she should have been on this and she should have done this. And then she sent me a reply, and it was, hey, don't be a jerk. Times were hard. I didn't have the money. And I was like, I read it like 5 times. And I was like, that's a typo. And I'm looking at my keyboard like, how did she get to I? S-H-E, but there's an I. I'm like, shit, that wasn't a mistake. And then she's like, 10 minutes later, she says, oops. Oh my God. I'm turning the TV off. I'm like,
What's going on?
you're joking, right? And she wasn't. So,
What
it
went
was,
through your head? Panic, fear?
panic.
Yeah.
Everybody's had a pregnancy scare here and
Sure.
there, but confirmed, I was terrified.
Yeah. What was going on in your life at that point? Like, what were you trying to do? Like, did it
I
feel
was-
like you're,
I was going to the Marines.
Oh, really? Okay.
I had to meet with a recruiter. I originally wanted to do the Air Force, but I was too tall to be a fighter pilot. He's like, we got a height limit. And I'm like, it's the one time. My height, it's my greatest advantage.
Right.
Until this one
One thing you wanted
pivotal
to do.
moment in my life. I'm like, I've been dreaming of this since I was a kid,
Yeah.
And he's like, well, yeah, you're way too tall. He's like, you can be a helicopter pilot. And I said, man, I don't want to do that.
Yeah, you want
like,
a
I've
jet?
seen Black Hawk Down. I don't want to fly those things. So I was like, I'll do the Marines and do my 8 years, get out, law enforcement,
Yeah.
just go that route. I never wanted kids.
Really?
No,
Yeah.
I tried to get a vasectomy a year out of high school. My doctor looked at me like I was crazy.
Yeah.
Like you just looked at me. So I'm like, well, I raised a lot of kids. My mom did foster care since I was 7 or 8.
Really? I know that.
So, I've babies. I mean, all kinds of babies.
Yeah.
In and out. I've had kids with heart problems, and my mom had 2 jobs. I'm like, one of them had a defibrillator.
Yeah.
He's, I think his name was Sean. About 6 months old, and his heart would stop in the middle of the night, and I'm getting up, pushing the buttons, and
How old were you?
10,
Wow.
11. Wow. But they had a rule: the boys had to be in the boys' room, girl had to be,
Yeah.
So, yeah. So I've been around kids my entire life.
Okay, then it's understandable why you were like, nah.
Yeah. So I was like, man, I've had my fair share of getting up, making bottles, and changing diapers, and I was like, I don't want to do it.
Yeah.
I planned on doing all of that and dying alone by myself. Take me out to the field and shoot me. Like I was content.
So how far along were you with the Marines when you found this
Oh,
out?
actually, her mom told me she was giving her up for adoption. She didn't know what it was.
Mm-hmm.
She's like, it's fine. I'm giving it up for adoption. And I'm like, well, I have no say-so in that anyway, but, I kind of want to go this route, so I can't really have a kid,
Yeah.
But I didn't hear from her for a couple months.
Wow.
And then she texted me, like, I think it was a week before I was supposed to meet with the recruiter and go over everything. And she's like, I'm keeping her. And I was like, her? Excuse me. It's a girl and this and that. And I'm like, wait a minute. What are you saying? Like,
Yeah.
And she said, yeah, if it was a boy, I was giving it up for adoption, which is it's fucked up. But
Yeah.
I mean, who wants a boy?
Yeah. Fuck them.
Discard him.
Yeah. Yeah, send them off.
So, yeah, she was keeping her, and I'm like at that point, I'm like, well, the recruiter told me like they prefer people with no kids.
Sure.
So, excuse me.
Oh, that's good. Yeah.
So, I'm asshole face. I was like, well, that's fine. I got plans anyway. Like, my life's set. And I'm going this route. Do it by yourself, And I let it go maybe 3 or 4 weeks. And I realized, like, I can't do that.
Yeah. Was there a moment when you realized you can't do that? Or was it just like thinking about it?
Yeah. I was actually talking to my stepmom. And she was like telling me things like, oh, your dad's over. He's doing this for work, and then he's got to go help this guy. And then she's like, oh, and your sister's boyfriend, he didn't have a car, and he can't find one, so your dad gave him this car. And I'm like, what? Excuse me. Like, my dad has treated me like I wasn't his since I was... As long as I can remember. I got 3 sisters. Nobody really knows that. I have 2 older sisters and a younger sister. Okay. So, how girls are with their dads.
Right.
He's kind of like, he's a boy. He can fend for himself,
I see. Yeah.
So I was like, well, wow. Like, man, he didn't do shit for me, Then I just got to thinking, like, I don't want to be that type of person to my own kid,
Right.
And that was like a pivotal point in my life. And I'm like, man, I got to do something. So... here I am.
So once you decided that, was that pretty much the end of the Marines?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, I could go over there and get shot and,
Right.
First day on the ground.
Right.
You never know.
Yeah.
So, but it was a big thing for me. A lot of my family are in the military. My uncle drove a tank for 10 years. My cousin, he's in there right now. And my other cousin did 8 years, MP. And so, I was kind of like, I want to do something.
Yeah.
Like a family legacy type of thing, So, didn't happen that way, but
No, I mean, like you created a new legacy.
You're right.
So that's
You're
something.
right.
So you mentioned like several months went by between you and the mom talking.
Mm-hmm.
So when you decided you were all in, was there a thought of like, we're gonna do the family thing, or
It was yes and no.
mm-hmm.
Because I always had it in the back of my mind, like, excuse me, how did this happen? You know,
Sure.
everybody knows how it happens.
Well, sure.
But how did this happen to me?
Right.
You know, because every woman I've dated, I've had that talk with, like, hey, I don't want kids. You know, we're not going down that alley.
Yeah.
Don't ask me. It's a no.
Yeah.
And I just couldn't put two and two together. So me and her were cordial. You know, she'd call me and she'd be sick and I'd bring her stuff. And, you know, but the night before she had my daughter, she sent me this like drawn out text. I think it was like 8 o'clock at night. I was at work closing up.
Okay.
Getting ready to go out, you know.
Yeah.
Like, okay. And she texts me and's like, you know, if we're going to do this, I want to do this the right way and get all this stuff out in the air. And I'm like, okay. I'm thinking she's going to say, it's not yours, you know. So I'm like, I'll be pretty upset. But,
Yeah.
you know, I don't know.
Yeah.
But, so she texts me and she's like, the night I got pregnant, I made the choice to not tell you I hadn't been on my birth control for 6 weeks because I wanted a kid. And I saw an opportunity and I took it. She's like, do you have any questions? Like it was like an interview or something. I was like, what? You know, so again, I'm reading 6, 7 times. I'm like,
where's the typo?
Right.
How did this happen?
this can't be right. Maybe she mixed this word with this one.
Yeah. Autocorrect does
Right.
things.
Man, those damn phones. So I said, are you joking? And she said, I'm not. So I called her and, you know, I'm furious. And because she got pregnant a week before I was supposed to get my vasectomy.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Right in under the gun.
Yep. Damn. So I was like, damn, she got me.
Yeah.
You know? And then we argued on the phone and her water broke 4 hours later.
Oh, my God.
Yeah. It's
So not the best of circumstances between the two of you.
I didn't get to, because of the argument, I didn't get to witness the birth. I didn't.
Really?
I got kicked out the room. You know, I didn't get to see anything. It was just
wow.
You go wait down there. She don't want you in here. What? You know?
Yeah.
So there's nothing you can do. You know?
Right, yeah. No, it's
So
falls in her court. In that case.
yeah.
What did you say on the phone? Like, were you just mad? I mean, you had to be mad.
I was so mad I can't even remember everything I said.
Yeah.
I just saw red.
Yeah.
And I just went from there, you know.
Yeah. Well, because at that point, had you kind of just come to terms with the fact that, like,
That I'm
birth
having a
control
kid.
doesn't always work,
Exactly.
and it just kind of happened, and
Yeah.
this was meant to happen, and, you know, you kind of made a peace with it.
Yes.
And
that
then-
kind of just stirred things up, and I'm like,
The last second, too.
right, like the day before, you couldn't tell me this? Give me a couple weeks.
Yeah, something,
You know?
just to...
Like, just anything.
Shit. Okay, all right. Okay, so then how were things between you guys, like, after the birth and everything?
Rocky.
Yeah.
Was more, I was working all the time,
Mm-hmm.
and of course she wasn't working, but I had my kid any chance I could get, you know.
Yeah.
I was getting off at 11:30, picking her up, taking her home. I'd bring her back in the morning so she could rest or whatever she wanted to do, you know.
Yeah.
So, at that moment, the family thing was kind of out the window for me, you know.
What was it that made it out the window? Was it just like
That
the big blow
yeah,
at the end?
yeah.
I mean, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Because I'm sure it just brings trust issues and stuff,
Exactly.
and it's like,
Yeah.
you told me, but that's like the most fucked up way to do it.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. So, you know, I was just trying to be, trying to get into being a parent. You know.
Yeah.
Like I said, I'm taking care of kids that weren't mine, but it's different when the kid's yours.
Yeah,
you know?
the investment, I'm sure.
Exactly. You
Yeah.
know, so I'm like, I gotta start saving for college, and I'm like, man, I gotta set all this money aside, and I'm like, she's been here for 3 days. Calm down. I'm like 80% of my check savings account. And I'm eating water and bread. So, yeah. So, I mean, we were cordial. I did, if she needed something, I'd get up, I'd get it. She didn't live that far from me. But once she got back on her feet, it was like she wanted a party life,
Okay.
So it was, I had the baby.
Yeah.
She was hanging out and smoking with her friends and all that dumb shit.
Yeah.
And then they say most women go through that postpartum depression. She went through that, resentment and all that, and saying she didn't want her, and excuse me. And I'm like, well, you did want her, I'm confused right now. So.
Right. She's not a boy.
Right.
So you're supposed to want her.
So you wanted her.
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
and to backtrack a little bit, like, what was that? I mean, everyone, all parents talk about, like, the first time they see their kid. Like, was that like I've had some people say that it's the craziest moment in their life, and other people have had, like, almost no reaction, and then they freak out about that, or, like.
I'm not going to lie. I was still, because I didn't get to see her until the next morning.
Okay.
So, I had to be at work at 3 o'clock. So, excuse me. She had the baby. They told me, it's a girl. I'm like, I already know. We know.
Yeah.
So, when I went in the room, they're like, "Oh, it's your baby," and I'm looking at her, and I'm like, she looks Asian. Every guy think like, and I'm like, that ain't my kid. Damn woman. She literally, my daughter's more. She didn't look anything like me, but you won't see that. I mean, I didn't know it at that time, so
Yeah.
it was. I was still mad, So the nurse comes in and she's like, "Oh, looks like the baby needs her first diaper change," and they're like, "Who wants to do it?" And I'm like this. And she's like, she just gave birth. She's like laying there like, I was like, asshole face. Mm-hmm. It was like, you wanted a kid, right? I was like, you better change that diaper. And then the nurse was like, you don't want to do? I said, no, I don't.
Yeah.
So, and just watching her change a diaper was like, I mean, it was the worst thing I've ever seen,
Mm-hmm.
She might as well have been trying to make a paper plane. So.
Oof. Okay. Yeah. All right. So.
Yeah. So it was a nightmare. And I said, well, I see that she's going to need some help, because I'm like, diapers are, I don't have to look.
Right. Yeah. It's
second nature.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, I was still angry. I met her, ironically, I met her dad for the first time.
Oh, wow.
There. You know, and both her sisters and her stepmom. Yeah. Yeah. So I had only known her mom and her little brother.
Okay.
Just from like stopping by the house, But everybody's like, her dad's like, "Oh, proud dad," and he's like shakes my hand, but he's squeezing my hand. And I'm like, I'll kick everybody's ass in here. You trying to size me up right now. We can all throw dukes. So he squeezed my hand, so I'm squeezing his hand. I'm like turning it, like this. We're just eyeing each other like.
The battle of the squeeze.
Right, right. We're just like, it's like the anime moves like, we're looking at each other. I'm just like,
yeah.
I was like, you done?
Because I'm sure he has different information that you have, and so he's looking at it from like, I've never met you before, and you got her pregnant. Right. And you're thinking, she didn't tell me until last night.
Right.
She duped me.
She got me.
Yeah.
You know? I'm like, I'm usually on top of things, but that time I wasn't. She got me. Yeah. So, yeah, it was different. You know? Nothing like you see on the TV shows and shit. Where all the dads were like, oh, no, I was all fire and brimstone.
Now, did you have the moment eventually?
I did, but she was, maybe 5 months, maybe, and all kids are different, Yeah. She was she cried. Boy, she cried. But what got me was when she started feeling her features started coming in. I'm like, God damn, she's got my eyes, my at 6 months, she's got my hairline. There's nothing there. So I was like, God, we're exactly alike. Ears. She looked exactly like me. And I remember I was sitting on my grandma's couch and I'm like, I usually put an orange or an apple out on the floor and she would like scoot to get it. And the first time she did it and I picked her up and I was like, damn, like this is my kid. You know?
Yeah.
And it took off from there.
Yeah, that had to be a powerful moment, you know, where it's like, so a little like before this happened, were you going out a lot? Were you partying? Like, what was your life pre-baby?
We're just gonna say I went from popping bottles to making bottles. We'll just put it that way. I was out. The last 6 months of high school, I was out Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday.
Yeah.
All the time. All the time.
Yeah.
I had nothing else to do. And I had older friends from Centennial and Waterson, and I was hanging out with them all the time, and I was out all the time.
Okay.
And then after high school, Monday through Sunday.
Mm-hmm.
I was every damn day. I was like, oh, well, there's something to do.
Yeah.
Up until, and I still went out after the baby was born.
Sure. Yeah.
Maybe 3 or 4 times instead of 6, 7 times.
Yeah.
So,
I'm curious, and there's no right or wrong answer to this, but did your mindset at all change when you went out after you had the kid?
Yeah.
I don't know in what ways, but
you avoid confrontation, and I don't like avoiding that, actually. By my nature is, I accept all challenges.
Okay.
I don't care.
Yeah.
But, you avoid certain situations, you avoid certain bars, clubs, what have you. And it was more of a just hanging out, just trying to have as much fun as I could because I knew it was eventually, this shit's going to stop,
Yeah.
So, and her mom, she really didn't let me keep her that much until, I would say she's probably like almost a year old, They have that separation thing, she don't like being away from her. Excuse me. So it's I don't want to get too drunk because I got to drive home,
Right.
It's like you look at things differently. Back, before I had her, I'm like, I don't care. I'm just here to have fun. If shit happens, shit happens.
Yeah.
Your mind changes, your thought process.
So in a way, up until like that 5-month mark where you kind of had that moment, was it hard? Like, were you kind of just angry? I mean, you cared about the kid, obviously, but were you kind of blinded by the situation?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. It was, I was an asshole to her, her mom.
Yeah.
Sometimes for no reason. Well, there's a reason, but
Sure.
just, it'd be like, she'd be like, oh, I'm tired. Can you keep her tonight? I'm like, didn't you want a baby?
Mm-hmm.
Get used to it.
Yeah. Tough love.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, it's it took a while to get over that, and she played a little game for a few years. I didn't mean it like that, and then we get in an argument, and she's like, and that's why I did this, and then and then it starts over, and I'm like,
Yeah.
So
she was, your daughter was like 1 when you got custody, is that what you said?
yeah, she turned 1 March 2nd. I filed for custody in May, and I got custody in September 2nd.
So what led to you filing for custody?
Well, one day, and this is after the crawling and all that, I was taking off work just to hang out with my kid, and like one day I was like heading to work, and she didn't live far from my job, maybe 5 minutes.
Yeah.
And I'm heading to work, and I said, I'm gonna go get my kid. So I called my job like, hey, I'm not coming in. They're like, what do you mean?
Yeah.
I was like, you gotta be here in 10 minutes. I was like, sorry, something came up. I just want to, I'm picking my kid up.
Yeah.
So I call her and I'm like, hey, I'm not going to work. Like, I'm going to come get her and you can do whatever you need to do. And so I was packing her diaper bag, and I'm putting diapers and whatever, and I open one zipper, and there's a bottle or a bag, or no, it was a medicine bottle. It's got weed in it, and I said, and I'm like, just like the text, I'm looking at the bag, closing the zipper, open the zipper, close the zipper, open the zipper, like. This must be a magic bag. It'll disappear. It'll disappear.
Yeah.
So, and I open it, I'm like, damn it. So I take it out like, this has got to be oregano. It's got to be oregano.
It's got to be.
So I open it. Of course, it is what it is.
Yeah.
And she comes around the corner like, shit, you weren't supposed to see that. And I said, well, I did. Like, what's this doing in here?
Yeah.
And she's like, I went and hung out with a couple of my friends. And I said, what? What you do on your own time is cool, but what's it doing in here? And she's like, oh, well, I took her with me. And I was like, you're out of your mind,
Yeah.
And I said, you could have called me. You could have called your mom or anything. And she's like telling me like, well, sometimes me and my mom get high and when we put her to bed, and I'm like, you're making it worse. Just stop talking,
Yeah.
So, I'm like, you know what? I'm packing clothes now. Like, you want me getting her back for a while? I had no say so in that technically, but
Sure, but fun.
yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
So, I'm packing bags, and she's like stopping me at the door, like put her down, and at this point, I'm just like, I'm, you're your only kid's protection.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I said, if I have to call any of my 3 sisters, I said, they'll be here in less than 10 minutes. You're not going to like it. Mm-hmm. So I was like, I suggest you just let me leave. We can talk about this later. Mm-hmm. So she lets me go. I go home and, I'm calling my mom and my stepmom and trying to get advice, So she's texting me. Like, my mom says she wants her weed back. I said,
that's Joe, the issue at hand.
That right. Not we're sorry. Hey, we pay good money for that. So I'm like, what do you mean? She's like, I said, what weed? Now I'm like baiting her. And I was like, what are you talking about? She's like, the weed in the diaper bag. And I'm like, okay, all right. So it was your mom's? And she's like, she's giving me everything. And I said, she's not getting it back. Like, tell her she can go buy some more if she wants some. Yeah. She's not getting this, So I'm like, my stepmom's like, call Children's Services, get it on record, So I did all that, and it's a cruel world we live in. Mm-hmm. The system it's always against the guy, damn near 9 times out of 10.
Yeah.
So I filed. Talked to this lady. I'm like, I got all these texts, and and they're like, okay, well, we'll go to her house and check everything out. And they're like, well, we're closing the case. Didn't find anything. I said, did you tell her when you were going? They were like, well, yeah, we sent her a letter. And I'm like, well, she hid it from you.
That's the thing. Yeah, because that's my understanding is that they have to give you like
24-hour notice.
24-hour notice. Yes. And anybody can sweep something under the rug if they have 24-hour notice.
Uh-huh.
I mean, unless it's just truly awful. But
right. Yeah.
Wow. So that had to be infuriating.
Yeah. Yeah. So, I'm like trying to go by the book and, go follow the right channels and all that. And,
yeah.
Kind of backfired. So then I'm like, okay, what do I do next? I'm just like, if worst case scenario, I at least can get shared custody.
Yeah.
So I file, and she didn't have a job at the time. I've been working since freshman year in high school.
Yeah.
4 years at Roosters. Rental car company after that, So I did, and, they gave me a court date, and we do the pre-trial or whatever, and then when we actually had the trial date, she didn't come.
Wow. Okay. Well, that probably helped you.
Yeah, that was the easy way to get custody.
Yeah.
So she didn't come, and I'm just, I'm sitting in the courtroom like, she'll be here in a minute. The lady's like, well, we'll give her another hour. And I said, I didn't say all that. 20 minutes, maybe. Like, sure, I'm not that nice.
Yeah.
So, she gave it an hour. She didn't show. And she's like, what do you want out of this? And excuse me. I'm like, I'm trying to take care of my kid, She was like, you want child support? And I was like, I don't need shit. Nothing, So she gave me custody. And all her mom.
Full custody?
Yeah.
Oh, wow,
Right
there.
Yeah, I've had full custody since she was 1.
Okay.
We've gone back to court 4 times. It's been denied every time. So I think she's at the point where she kind of just gave up. We literally just went to court she filed last May.
Okay.
In our court date, and we had a court date for I think August, and we did a trial and all that, and it was denied. So obviously I'm doing something right.
Yeah, I'd say so.
But it's not like I don't keep her out of her life,
Yeah.
I just don't think she is ready to be the sole provider, making all those types of decisions. Eventually, I'll give her a share, but as of right now, it's not going to happen.
Yeah. So she just hasn't really, still hasn't really grown.
No.
Oof.
No. And my daughter just turned 8. So that's the, you need topped off? Yeah. I'll be back.
Thank you.
So she hasn't really grown as much as I hoped, but she's making strides. I can say that. So,
Is that a situation where, like, on some level, I would imagine there's some hubris. Like, I've done this myself. I can do this myself. But on the other hand, you probably are hoping that she grows.
Right.
And stuff, right?
Yeah.
I would think.
Yeah.
Like, it's
Yes.
probably like
I think like that, and it's more, I still think, like back then, like you wanted a kid. Like, I shouldn't be busting my ass as hard as I do.
Yeah.
When you wanted a kid, you
Right.
know. Granted, I am grateful for my kid because she leveled me out. I was a young and dumb.
Yeah.
And I mean, young and dumb.
What's a good example of that?
Drinking and driving with alcohol in the car.
Okay, sure. Yeah, I've been there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I living paycheck to paycheck. I didn't care. I was just like, as long as I could have fun and pay my bills, I didn't care. So, it changes you, like I said.
Sure, yeah.
I had not a care in the world, back then.
Yeah.
So hopefully she gets to that point, where I can kind of let go, lay off the reins and let her kind of do her own thing, but it's not happening right now.
Sure.
So
yeah.
I'll give it a couple years.
Yeah. Maybe by the time she's in high school or something.
There you go.
Yeah.
Freshman year, maybe?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. All right.
Yeah. Give it a shot.
Mm-hmm.
See how it goes. Well, so have you done much dating?
Yeah.
How is that with a young kid?
It's a gift and a curse.
Yeah.
For what it is.
Mm-hmm.
I will admit, when I had my daughter, 1-year-old, she's in the stroller. We're at Easton or Polaris, and I'm getting stopped all the time.
I bet.
All the time. Everybody's like, she's so cute, and and then I'm like, thank you. I'm her dad, obviously. I'm not some random guy pushing her through them all, but
yeah, just getting your friend's puppy and taking him to the park. Yeah.
So it opens a conversation.
Oh yeah. Goodbye
but-
pickup lines.
Exactly.
You were walking your pickup line.
I'm at the play thing at the mall, and I'm just like, playing with her in the air, and then all these women are like staring at me, and I'm like, how you doing? How you doing? So, but
they're looking at your hands, looking for any rings.
Right. So I'm holding her up like this.
Yeah, ring hand out.
Nothing there. So it was a plus, but dating while having a kid, women don't like competing with other women.
Even if they're babies.
Even if they're babies. So I've had to deal with that. Women, they want to, let's go out, let's do this. And I'm like, I got my kid. And they're like, oh, find a babysitter. And I'm like, That's a third strike. If you say that to me, we have nothing else to talk about.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that's like me saying, oh, man, just leave your kids at home. Let's go to the bar.
Right.
They'll be all right. Put them in front of the TV.
Right. Yeah.
So,
I'm trying to play that.
My daughter got to the age where she was constantly, sneaking in my room, in the middle of the night. I'd look over and she'd be in my bed. So I wouldn't let people spend the night. I'm like, if you want to come hang out, sure, we'll watch a movie. I'm like Cinderella. That clock strikes noon. I turn into the grumpy old dad. You got to go. I said noon, midnight. You know what I mean?
I got you, yeah.
But, if you want to spend the night, if you're drunk or there's a couch, I'm not chancing, my kid coming in and there's somebody else in my bed who's not her mom. Or she doesn't know. We'll just put it that way.
Yeah.
But, stipulations, you got to leave by 7 in the morning because she's not coming in here and finding you on the couch.
Right.
So it's hard balancing,
Yeah.
I did get to the point where I was dating someone and she'd been around for a while. And one day I woke up and my kid, she got in my bed. She was in the middle when I went to sleep, Mm-hmm. And then, my girl I was talking to, I turned over and she was like holding her. And I'm like, I was like, give me my baby, So, it's a protective thing.
Yeah, of course.
So, but dating that's one of the, potty training was easier than dating while having a kid. We'll just put it that way.
Yeah.
So, it's not easy at all.
Has it gotten any easier as she's gotten older?
Yeah, because she can, kids are a good, they have good character judgment.
Yeah.
My daughter will tell me, if she likes somebody, if she doesn't, I don't care. Beyonce could be sitting on my couch. And if my kid tells me, I don't want her here, you got to go.
You got to go. Yeah.
I was dating a girl and I was going to go to the park and I was like, well, we're all going to go to the park. And she's like, me and you? And I said, do you want her to come? And she's like, no. And I was like, all right. So I just told her, like, hey, we're going to go to the park. She don't want you to come. Like, There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it.
Yeah, and that's it.
And, the park's around the corner.
Yeah.
We just walk over there all the time. But, it's, it's more like I have to get my kid's approval to date somebody. Like me. Like, you're a kid, but...
Well, I think that's telling as to, how much you care about her.
Right.
I mean, that's,
definitely.
You're not going to... And there have been people she's been cool with?
Yes.
Okay, so it's not like she hates everybody or something.
No. There's a...
Maybe she doesn't want to compete with another woman, too.
Exactly. Exactly. Yeah, she does that. I'd be sitting on the couch. I was dating one girl, and she'd be sitting next to me, and my kid will come, and she's, boom, right in the middle. And I'm like, oh, I see what's happening here. Oh, okay. You're like the dad on prom night.
That's got to be funny. Just
oh, it is.
If I, if I end up having a girl, it's just gonna be so interesting to see the little woman in
yes. Them. My daughter's she's secretly a boy. She bought me this shirt for Christmas.
That's badass.
She knows I love Star Wars.
Yeah.
She's got lightsabers in her room. We sword fight all the time. She's big into Marvel.
Okay.
But it's great watching them grow up. Just the stuff that comes out of her mouth. I'm like, God, that's me. Like the sass she gives me. I'm like, I wouldn't talk to my mom that way. My mom would knock my teeth in the back of my mouth. But my kid, I'm like, I would say that in my head when I was a kid. Like, you got some balls. Because I wouldn't say that to grandma. But she'll tell me right to my face, like, well, you should have flushed the toilet. You know, stuff like that. Or I'm like, man, I need to take a shower. And she'll be like, you do stink. And I'm like, grandma would have knocked my head off my shoulders if I said that to her. I'm like, and I just talk to her like an adult. I'm like, you right. You right. Let me go get in the shower. I'll be back. But it's fun. Even you know, when she was like 1 and 2, we showered together. You know, I'm like, I wasn't doing the bath thing all the time. That takes too much time. So
Yeah, you got to
she'd be on the floor playing, and I mean, when I tell you, I couldn't use the bathroom without my kid in the bathroom. I'd shut the door, and her hands would be under the door, and I'm just like, you know, it's like a horror movie. Her little fingers, and I'm just like, you know, go away.
Yeah, you don't want to be in here. Yeah,
know?
you don't need to see this.
So, this is what made me stop all that. I think she was like 3.
Yeah.
And I'm, you know, my hair was betraying me. So I had to shave my head.
Yeah.
And I'm in the bathroom shaving my head, and I just showered her, and she's playing with a toy or something. So I'm like, you know, shit's in my eyes. My eyes are closed, and I'm shaving.
Yeah.
And I feel Thor grab me by the balls and with the worst grip ever. And I'm shaving, and I'm like, I jerk. I peel my head.
Oh, God.
I'm like, I got blood running, and I'm like, shit's in my eyes. And I'm just trying to see, like, of course, it's her. And I'm like, I'm screaming. And I'm like, let go! And she starts crying because I scream, you know.
Sure.
And I'm just like, I'm bleeding, and I'm like I just never want to hit a 3-year-old so hard in my life. It was bad.
Oh man. Oh,
So and then I was like, well, now you're gonna have to shower by yourself. So
yeah, even a 3-year-old has the power. We have our one kryptonite, us men.
Woo. And I didn't think it was that, man. I said, man, I'm gonna get you in a wrestling or something. Like, you got a kung fu grip on you like I never would have thought.
Oh my god.
Yeah. So.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, so what's the relationship with you and her mom now? I mean, is it just like you just kind of tolerate each other? I mean, I imagine all the court dates and stuff got to put a strain on things.
It's weird.
Or does it not?
Sometimes it's, we're going to court, but when we're out of court, I guess it's not weird. That'd be weird for me, but I'm sure other parents do it. We'll be in court, we're like, giving each other these death stares, and then we get out of court and it's like, hey, what are you doing for lunch?
Yeah.
I'm going to take her here. If you want to see her, like, you can come.
Yeah.
And it's like we're parents,
Yeah, that's great, actually.
Yeah.
You're able to do that.
For the most part, we get along pretty good. We do argue and nitpick, especially when I'm dating somebody. Oh, it's, you got her around my kid, this and that.
Yeah.
Territorial.
Is it the same when she's dating somebody? Like, are you?
No. Because, I accept all challengers, like I said. So
Bring it.
I just tell her, like, if you're going to have another guy around my kid, I'd appreciate it if I know who it is.
Right.
I meet this person, and there's so many weirdos in the world,
Yeah.
I just want to let you know, like, you don't want to fuck with my kid, because I'm nuts.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, so you guys have made it work, basically.
Yeah, pretty much.
That's
And that's all
great.
you can do.
Yeah.
At one time we did try to be a family, and she practically lived here, but didn't live here, I guess. And it wasn't happening. It was more work for me. When I came home from work, I'm like, working 10 hours a day, driving a bus. I got to deal with those loonies out there.
We'll get to that in a second.
Yeah. Oh my God. Dealing with them, and then I'm coming home and I gotta cook dinner, wash the dishes or give my kid a bath, stuff like that. It's just, it was just more hard work for me to try and make it work for my daughter,
Right.
But coming from a home where my dad had another wife, so I only had my mom, I was like trying my hardest to make it work, and it wasn't there.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. Well, and I mean, it's good that you tried, 'cause at least then there's not going to be that lingering like,
right.
Could we have made it work?
Exactly.
Any of that kind of shit.
Right.
Do you want to? Do you think about like wanting to have like to have another like a stepmom for her?
Yeah.
But it's one of those things. I mean, obviously you can't force it, but it's just
no. Yeah, that would be great. Because she does need a female role model. I mean, I can't have her out here, picking up chicks.
Right. Yeah.
Trying to be like me.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I mean, I wouldn't care either way. I'd prefer that.
Yeah.
I don't have to deal with any men.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes. Have fun. Here's the card. Go to prom.
Go
do whatever you want.
Go to Florida
Don't
for
come
spring
back
break.
till next week.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, it's like, you're not pregnant. Oh, of course you're not.
Yeah, of course not. Yeah.
But yeah, it's that's part of life.
Yeah.
I want that for my kid. Because there's only so many things I can teach her.
Right.
When she hits 13, shit's gonna hit the fan. We're exactly alike.
What was the learning curve on like learning to do? Well, I guess you already had that experience, but I was going to say like doing hair or doing any of those things. Like, did you already have that? Like, no, you hadn't. Okay.
I've always cut hair. Even when I didn't have hair, I was still cutting hair.
Yeah.
It was like a side thing for me going through high school. But doing her hair was, God, I don't know how many hours I spent on YouTube.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, okay.
Watching tutorials.
Over and over and under. And like, I even had her damn baby doll. You gotta
Practicing?
cut that out. Okay. Don't put that in there. But, yes, I literally did. And I'm like watching YouTube. Like, okay. All right. I called Alexia Dillard.
Yeah.
All the time. Like, what do I do? Like, what do you put in your hair? Like, help me. And she give me all these pointers and shit, and eventually I got it. It's like second nature.
Sure. Yeah.
So.
Okay. All right. So all this stuff's going on with having a daughter and all the stuff with the mom, and also your reprieve from all that is driving a bus.
Oh yeah.
So So this was a city bus.
City.
Okay.
Coda.
How did you get into that?
My old manager when I worked at Roosters, he got hired at Coda, and he was driving the bus.
Okay.
He was like, "Hey, you need to put an app in, because he is a single dad too.
Okay.
His wife isn't, stable, I guess.
Yeah.
So he got me on, and then I just went with it. I was like, man, it's a great opportunity. Great benefits. The pay was good.
Mm-hmm.
You learn that you get your Class B. Even if I didn't continue with that, I still have my Class B.
Oh, that's nice. Yeah.
And they pay for the training. All of that shit. So, so I went with it. I was like, man, I had it made at my last job because I only worked weekends.
Oh,
Saturday, Sunday, 17 hours.
Wow.
Each day. But I was off Monday through Friday.
Yeah, that's perfect.
I had my daughter all the time, So that was a plus, but I was kind of giving that up for higher pay.
Right. Yeah.
So it was like that peace of mind, or do I want that freedom, or do I want to make more money?
Right.
And I'm like, if I didn't have my daughter, it'd be like, I want that peace of mind.
Yeah.
Freedom, but I needed to make more money. So
how do you train to drive I just can't imagine driving a bus.
I kid you not, I was terrified.
Yeah.
When I first started driving the bus, like my first day by myself, I made so many wrong turns. And people, those passengers, they'll let you know. I'm like, I'm supposed to turn, I'm going on high school, I'm supposed to turn on Spring. You know, I'm running the Cleveland Avenue bus. I'm supposed to go to by Columbus State and shit. And they're like, where are you going? I'm just like, it's a reroute. They didn't tell y'all? It's a reroute. And then I'm like, I'm not familiar with downtown. So I'm like this, oh, God, where am I going? Where am I going? Downtown. You know, I'm trying to find the next right turn to make, like left, right? You know, I'm like, we're just going to go this way. You know, I don't know. But I'll end up where I'm supposed to get eventually. And I get off track and the radio room's calling me. And I'm like, I'm not answering that phone. I can't be on the phone and driving. Like, no, you know. And then they send me a text on the thing, and I'm like, I pull over and I'm reading. They're like, you're off route. Call radio room. They're like, where are you going? I was like, man, I thought it was a reroute. You know? And they're like, then they tell me where to go. And I'm like, okay. So I get back on track, and they're like, man, are you new? And I was like, yeah. Like, shut up and let me do my job. Like, hey, I got you there early because we skipped all those stops around downtown. So
what kind of? I bet you had a lot of regulars. Like, did you just have some?
I had man. If I could drink at work, I'd do it at Coda. You know, driving a bus, I'd have to. I had older women trying to pick me up. I've had guys trying to fight me just for not letting them ride for free. God. You know, and that's my ego. You know, my mentality is. I don't think I was driving for 2 weeks, and I get to High and Chittenden. And I'm like, okay, this weird guy's like, he's got sandals on and the swishy sweatpants, but he's got a vest, a suit vest on. And his hands are wrapped like Street Fighter. And I was like, so I'm looking at this guy like, okay, whatever, you know, boxing class, I don't know, whatever, you know. You're hot, you're cold, I have
Business
no idea
up top,
what's going on.
Exactly.
Wild card. So he gets on the bus, and there's a bar in the front. He's just leaning there like this. I was like, what's up?
Yeah.
He's like, what's up? I was like, no, I mean, what's up? Like, what's up can mean, translates into a lot. Like, I mean, what the hell do you want? That's what I mean when I say what's up. Yeah. So he's like, oh, I'm just going downtown. I said, okay, it's $2. He said, oh, I ain't got it. And I was like, so I opened the door back like, well, I ain't got a ride. He's like, you ain't gonna let me ride? And I was like, no. He's like, man, I'm going downtown. I said, we all going downtown once we pay. I was like, and that's where we going. So he's like, I'm not paying. And I said, well, I need you to hop up off this bus because I got to get these kids downtown. You know, I'm on campus. I got a bunch of campus kids.
Oh, yeah.
They got places to be.
Yeah.
So he's like, nah, I'm just going to ride. And I was like, so I pulled a parking brake. I was like, dog, I get paid by the minute. We can sit here all day. I was like, but you going to make them mad.
Yeah.
And he's getting all mad and calling me all kind of names. And like, he's like, you know what? Just get your bitch ass off the bus. And I said, okay, I ain't going to meet you many more of them. And he's like, yeah, let's go. So he's taking his, you know, he's unbuttoning his vest. Boop, boop, boop. And I'm like, you pop all the buttons you want, man. I was like, it ain't going to change the fact that you're not riding for free. All you got to do is come to me like, hey, man, I really don't have the money.
Right.
Like Coda gets tax money from you paying taxes.
Yeah.
It's funding. Hey, you're paying for it anyway.
Yeah. Make up the story. Oh, I got a job interview.
Right. I'd have been like, hey,
it.
the Latin Shrine Center or the circus, I'll take you out there.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know what you're doing, but just give me something. Don't tell me what you're going to do. Because then I'm like combative. Like, no, you're not.
Yeah,
you know? So he takes his vest off, sets his wallet and everything down, and he's like, steps off the bus, and he's like, you know, like this, like, come on.
Yeah.
And I was like, I'm going to enjoy this. So I'm like getting up, like, you sure? And he's like, come on, get your ass out here. And I said, all right. So I got out the seat, and I'm like, you got a kid.
Yeah.
Like, when I tell you she levels me, she levels me.
Yeah.
So I was like, you know what? And I was just like this. Psych. And I shut the door.
Nice.
And I left.
Nice.
All his shit sitting on the bus. And he's chasing the bus. And, you know, so
Wow.
Like I said, I've had women hitting on me, which, I mean, have you seen this?
Well, I can see why they're doing it.
It's okay.
Yeah.
I'm used to it. So. But so one lady, she put her ID in my lap. She's like, won't you bring this back to me? You know, she tossed it, and I was like, I threw it out the door. You know, not thinking. It's just like, I was irritated. I'm just like, and it went outside. She said, really? And so she gets off to get her ID, and I'm just like, I'm just not in the mood. So I just left. When I tell you some loonies, I mean, even when I'm downtown waiting on a bus, like back when I was working out all the time, I've had people asking me for money constantly. You know, they're like, they see Coda drivers. They're like, well, they make the big bucks. And I'm like, that guy works for, you know, Huntington right there. He's in a suit, you know, but they're asking all the Coda drivers for money. So this guy comes up to me all the time, and he's like, hey, man, you got some change? And I'm like, nah, I ain't got no change. And, like, one thing, I don't carry money when I'm driving a bus.
Yeah, smart.
So I was like, no, I don't have anything. And he's like, that's because you spent all that money on steroids, you punk. And I'm just like, thank you. It's the best compliment I've ever got, because I don't take steroids, but I was just that damn big, you know? You know me in high school, I graduated 6'2", 130 pounds.
Oh,
wet.
Yeah,
you know,
you were
when
sick.
I drove for Coda, I was 220.
Whew.
I benched 305 pounds.
Damn. Wow.
I was like, I was big.
Yeah.
I was like, man, I needed that boost of confidence. Like, I'm
Thank
not
you,
on
crazy man.
right. Like, I appreciate you. Now, if I had some money, I'd give you some money. Oh, I mean, it's you know, I'm glad I know how to drive a bus, because after all that training, it's like you don't know there's 40 feet behind you.
Yeah.
It's that easy.
Yeah.
You know, I'm turning corners with my finger. Like, it's
Right.
it's that easy.
Keeping the distance.
Yeah. It's all about your turning radius. That's it. And I'm like, I pick the routes where I'm on a straight line most of the day. High Street, Main Street, Cleveland, Livingston. I'll turn into Graceland. And I'm like, and that's like, when I turn into Graceland, it's a work of art. You know, I'm like leaning back, like, I'm turning in, and I go all the way to the back, and I spin all the way around it. And I don't budge. And people come up to me all the time, like, man, I wish everybody drove like you. And I'm like, thank you. You know, so it's I mean, it's an art in its own.
Yeah.
You know, moving something that big.
I believe it.
So
wow.
But I'm, like I said, I'm glad I know how to do it.
Yeah.
It's something you'll never forget.
Yeah.
Like, when I quit, I was still pulling up at bus stops in my fucking car. Like, I mean, it's just happened. I'm like, oh shit. And I'm like, I'm in my car. You know? People look at me like, who is this nut? You know, I'm just I'll pull up, and I'm like looking, and I'm like, wait a minute. I'm not here to work.
They're not getting in my car.
So, yeah. I mean, it took a while to get out of that habit. But
Yeah. Wow. Well, it seems like you took a lot of bad times and made some great stories.
Oh,
out
yeah.
of it.
Yeah,
So,
man. It's, my life's a riot. If I could write a book, I thought about it.
I think you should.
I might do it.
I think you should, man.
I might.
I do.
So,
As an avid reader of your posts,
right.
I'd read a book.
Yeah. Oh, Facebook, my only outlet. Like I'm 16. I'm like, God, today sucked. Let me put this on Facebook. You won't believe what happened to me. Like, dear diary.
Yeah. Well, thanks so much for coming on, man. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, man, I loved it.
It's this is a fun way to reconnect with somebody.
Definitely. 13 years later. And
Yeah.
100 posts later.
Probably 1,000.
Yeah, you as much as I was on there. You're right. Yeah, you're right.
Well, best of luck with everything else, man. I'm excited to hear what happens with the pipe fitting, where it goes, what you're doing.
Well, we know where pipe fitting goes.
Well, damn straight. Yeah. Thanks, man.
That was the episode. I hope you enjoyed it. Thanks again to Ryan for talking with me about his life. I just shot him a Facebook message like last week out of the blue. I was like, hey, want to talk with me about all the shit you've been through? And then I'll release it to the world. And yeah, he couldn't have been more cool about it. It was great seeing him, and I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you did, give us that 5 stars on iTunes. Really appreciate that review you could leave. And check out badtimesgoodstoriespod.com. That's all I've got. So until next Wednesday, keep laughing.